Now, I've been braiding my own hair since I was 10, but the last time I actually braided my hair, like did actual feedings, was probably over a year or two ago. So right now I'm attempting to do some small feed-in cornrows in the front so that, I'm going out of town and I had to do it really, really fast. And I don't know, I employed someone to do the back and said that I would do the front, but I really don't know what I was thinking because it's really been really, really long since I've done it. And honestly, I've never really done my own hair, braided it neatly with nails on. Yes, I do everyone else's hair like that, but not my own. So that I know right off the bat this is going to be a challenge. So here I am trying to just slip the feeding under my nails, and that alone is a technique of its own. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I braid my own hair, but also a different perspective or a different braid style from a different braider. So I have Bruce braids. She's going to come in and do the back of my hair first, and then I'm going to finish off by actually showing you guys how I complete the front. So right now, as you can see, I'm struggling. I have to take this one out. This is way too small. I'm not going to do it that small because one is going to take too long. And yeah, so here is Bruce braids. And before you guys get to talking about my natural hair, honestly, like, I just have to come to terms, like, after I had my baby, and my baby is now 3, so I know it's a long time to be blaming a child for ruining your hair, but before her, my hair was so fluffy and pretty, and honestly, I can't really blame her because I know what to do to make my hair grow and be healthy, but by the time I'm done doing everyone else's hair, my hair is just kinda left by the wayside, and honestly, I just don't want to be even dealing with it. So if you guys are stylists, I know that we're supposed to represent and be the example for ourselves, but sometimes we just don't have the time or just even don't even want to deal with hair once we're done with everyone else's. So if you're a stylist and you go through this same struggle as me, go ahead and put that in the comments so I know that I'm not alone, because I know they're going to come for me. But honestly, after I'm done with this braid style, I'll probably end up cutting my hair really, really short. I really just want to start over because I do want to jump on like some type of growth journey to get it back how it used to be. So now Bruce braids, she's just joking because I've been telling her this whole time, like, turn the camera on. Is the camera on my head? Like, I really wanted to get this content for you guys. So I've been bugging her about making sure like she's filming. And this is mostly what we talk about too, is just like, getting the camera rolling, making sure we film everything and stuff like that. Our conversations are always powerful because we just talk about business. There's like not gossiping. It's just straight empowering each other and talking about what our moves are, what we're doing next, and stuff like that. So this is always great. So this is her hands, of course. It's not my hands this time. I am the client in the chair, and she's braiding my hair. So my last video I showed was of some knotless. And if you guys want to compare, you can see she braids a different way than I do, and she adds the hair in kind of similar to how I do, but her braid is so tight. It's really pristine and stuff like that. I'm a little bit looser with my braids because, like that's just kind of how I braid. And plus, yeah, I don't have no excuse for it, but her shit is nice. It's on point. So she's braiding it down. She's adding the hair in, and I told her I really, really want it really, really full. So she made sure to like add in as much as I told her. I said I need about 8 or 9 added in, and while she's like, doing the braiding, I'm like putting the hair out on the rack for her. So the size of the feeding of the curly hair is the size that I'm handing to her. However, I want to tell you guys what I'm using. So all right, my last video, we used probably like a 24 inch of braiding hair. This braiding hair that I'm using is the Little Looks. I think it's by Outre. And this is kids braiding hair. So the kids braiding hair is about 16 inches long. And the reason why I wanted the kids braiding hair to be that short is because I don't want the hair too long. I don't want it past my butt, and I don't want her to be braiding too long. So for this style of knotless feed-ins, boho feed-ins, is determined by how long the braiding hair is. So if you have a really short braiding hair, that means you're going to tie off um at a shorter length. However, the human hair that I'm using is by Janet's Collection, and that is 24 inches long. So even though we're tying off the braids at about 16 inches, the 24-inch that she adds at the end gives it that length. And the 24-inch that she's adding in throughout the entire braid is going to give it its fullness. So I do recommend, if you don't want to be braiding for a really, really long time and you want to go faster throughout these type of styles, get a shorter braiding hair pack and a longer leave out, like the longer sewing human hair pack. And that is going to allow you to not braid as long. And this is how it looked, you guys. This is how it finished off at the back. It looks really, really full, and she didn't even have to braid down too far, and it's still too long for me. I'm going to end up cutting it a little bit, but here I am now attempting to braid my own hair, like you guys seen in the beginning. I'm just going to cut past that. So of course I'm going to try to do it like a half a middle part, just so I can line everything up. And what I'm going to be doing is, I want like two braids in the front just hanging in front of my face, because I didn't want to put it all going back. I kind of wanted some flair to the style. So I ended up parting those triangles out, and those are going to be two knotless braids in the front. And then I'm going to just braid the braids straight back in an angle. I had an elaborate style in my head that I wanted to do, but once I started braiding that first braid you guys saw me braiding, I was like, let me make it simple for my first time back and just braid a simple braid. So here I am, I'm making the part larger than in the beginning because we're not going to do it that small. Plus, I wanted it to match up with the size of the braids in the back, so it really didn't need to be that small anyway. So this ended up being the perfect size. So what I'm doing is basically parting it out, and then I'm going to push out my baby hair. Um, just so I can have something going on in front. It always looks good once I'm able to sleek something in the front. And then I'm starting to braid. And what I'm going to do is add the feed-in hair in, and I am just sliding it under my pointer finger, between my pointer and my thumb, and then I'm just going to keep braiding. So if you guys are having difficulty braiding, as you guys can see, I'm paused with my right hand holding the braid, and my left hand reaches for the feed-in hair, and I slip it under my pointer finger. And now I'm adding in the curly hair, because it has to all flow. So I'm adding curly hair. I braid down a little bit, and then I pull it out. I'm holding with my right hand on my left hand right now to pull it out, but typically I do that with my right hand holding. That's my dominant hand. So I guess with putting the curly hair ends in, I'm able to take it out with my right hand. So for many of you guys that ask me, does my hand hurt? Absolutely, it hurts, especially when I'm doing my own hair. It hurts really, really bad. So that's why, like, especially with your arms up in the air like that, it does hurt, but you get used to it over time. I take little breaks here and there, but I really wanted to get through this because my trip was the next day and I needed to get this done. So here I am at the end. Thank God I used shorter braiding hair, because I would have still been trying to braid down. And yeah, so for this, I stopped really, really short, but the hair is still really long because the end of the curly hair. So this is me showing you guys that the braids match up. The size of my braid in the front matches up with the size of her braids in the back. So here's a little slowdown of the parts. And not to brag, but I've always kind of been good at partying, even my own hair. Like, it's something about my uh sense of touch. Um, when it comes to parting, I can feel my part. So if I was braiding the back of my head, I could kind of run my finger in the back of my head and feel if my part is straight or not. So that's how I've always been able to, like, kind of get straight parts even in the front, because I don't know, I'm just used to, like, knowing if it's straight or not. So it doesn't really bother me to get my part straight. But the jam does not hurt either. I know a lot of people complain about using jam. Right now I'm using the lock-in gel it's really expensive, almost like 30 bucks for a little for a jar of lock-in, but it's been working pretty good. It doesn't make my hands slip at all. So while I'm braiding my own hair with nails, my hands are not slipping. They're just like braiding really well. So, I just took that out because, sometimes I'm braiding and it's a little loose, so I have to kind of start over. But overall, like once I got in the groove of things, it really wasn't so bad braiding my own hair. And I really feel like for this style, I'm gonna keep the back in for a while and then I'm just gonna take the front out every now and then and like restyle it with a different style. So that's probably going to be one of my upcoming videos is me just kind of taking the front part of the braids out and just re-braiding it into a different style for you guys. So one of the struggles I've had with this is obviously stitch braiding. Like I really just don't feel like I'm capable of stitch braiding, or I just don't have the patience to do the stitch braiding with this style or on myself. So yeah, I mean sometimes it looks stitch and that's because I'm using my nails to like kind of form some type of stitch while I'm braiding, but I'm not stopping and using my pinky to like form the stitches because just everything would just probably come a loose because it's just really hard to do that on yourself. So if you guys been wanting to do your own hair, like this is kind of how I approach it. I braid for a little bit, then I start adding in the hair. The most difficult part is adding in the feed in. And once you have like a method for that, like I said, I take it with my left hand and I kind of slip it between my pointer and my thumb and just keep braiding. And once you have that down, like it's really not as hard, but to get it down, that there could be some difficulties there. So one of the things I did while adding in the curly hair is sometimes the curly hair will start slipping and I'll have to tug on it to make sure I don't feed in too much of it at the end. So while I'm braiding down, sometimes it starts like I start braiding too much of it into the hair and I kind of pull on it just to um, get the length back. So as I'm braiding, sometimes I start like seeing it slip into my braid and I start, I'll have to pull on it a little bit to take it back out. So because this style is symmetrical on both sides, I like to start in the middle. So if I've done the middle one up to the middle part, then I'll start on the other side. Instead of starting by the ear on the other side, I'll just start in the middle so that I can match up the braids so that once I'm on the other side, like everything ends up being symmetrical as well on that side. So at the end, I'm going to show you guys how I dip this hair in water and mousse it down and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't really get like a proper finishing video. I guess like I felt like I wanted to be dressed up. And once I was dressed up, I completely forgot to like do the finishing video. But you guys do get to see how it looks completely finished like before I wet it and like do all that stuff. So you will get to see like how it looks. And I'm pretty sure by now I've put up some type of video or picture or something with this style in. So you guys have seen that also. All right, so now I'm at the front and I'm just lining up it to be the middle part, and then I'm going to go ahead and braid it like regular knotless braids and add the curly hair into it. I'm adding about four pieces of curly hair. You know, at the back we have about eight, but I didn't want so much hair in the front, so I just started adding in the braiding hair, and then I added in the curly hair. I wanted one to start right at the top or as close to the top as possible, and then a couple throughout the braid, and then, you know, at the end and to be curly. And like I stated in my last video, when I get to the end, I just take the human hair, a couple pieces of the human hair from the feed-in part of it, right? I take a couple of that and I wrap around the braid and make a knot, and that is how I tie off each braid. So now here I am complete, and you guys do get to see the finished look here, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it because I don't like it going past my butt. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it at an angle on each side, and then I'm gonna uh get my husband to help me dip it. He don't want to be in a video, so y'all you're gonna see is his arm, and then I'm gonna mousse it down and go about my business. So this is how it looks, you guys. It's so pretty. I really, really love this style. So I'm using my jam, and I'm gonna gel it down with my edge control. This definitely makes the look, even though, you know, once those braids in the front fall, you can barely see the edges, but you know, sometimes it just really makes the look. So I use the magic finger mousse and just mousse that down. I was trying to tie a band over it, but my bands aren't long enough. So here I am going to dip my hair in the water. I make sure I have a towel around me. This is really like dangerous, you guys. So if you're doing something like this, please be careful. Know what you're doing. See, I have a towel around my back, and then I have a second towel that's going to like dry the hair off really, really quick. And there go my baby. I'm trying to tell her to get out the bathroom because we have hot water going around in the bathroom, so she ran off. And here I am. I'm just a little clip of it. It's not really of the hair, but I just wanted to insert a little clip. So thank you guys so much for watching. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.